In this video, I'm gonna unbox the WEN 8-inch Spiral Cutterhead Jointer, and I'm gonna give you my first thoughts. Stick around. This is Dave Remade, Tool Review Edition. Now, not that anybody really cares, but the box is about 40.5 inches by, looks like 18, let's just say 19 inches by almost 14 inches. If you buy this at the store and you want to put it in your truck or your car. I got this one at Lowe's and it took some time to get. This is a Model JT833H. Let's open this bad boy up and see what's inside. Should cut away from myself. I did learn nothing in Boy Scouts. All right, it's a lot of cardboard. That's cool. This is definitely packed very well. Though the box is in pretty rough shape, not gonna lie. All right, let me pull these things out. All right, so looks like we have the manual here. You have some hex keys and an Allen key. This is like a T wrench, or I don't know the exact name, sorry. There looks like some hardware for, I believe this might be for the fence, but we'll find out. So here's a better shot of what's inside. So you have a fence sliding handle, an M6x16 socket head screw, and there's 2 of them in here. A square nut, a 2.5mm hex wrench, a 4mm hex wrench, and a star wrench. So let's see what's underneath all this styrofoam. All right, so I'm gonna have to put this on the floor to get it out. Look at that, oh my goodness. Oh, okay, good, that's just a little, grease on here to protect this. I'm gonna put this on the floor and we'll go from there. So I lied, I just took it out of the box and put it back on my bench. I will say that there's a box inside a box and there's a lot of cardboard. The jointer itself is pretty heavy, but the box and all the cardboard and crap in there adds to the weight of the box overall for sure. So once I got it out of the box, it has some styrofoam, and in here you have, looks like dust port, and then you also have your fence. Now there should be some other accessories with this, which I believe are on the opposite side. So what I'm gonna do is carefully wiggle this out and see what other accessories we have. All right, so it looks like we have 2 push blocks. Cool. We have the fence bracket. So I guess the fence connects to this. And there should be a sliding fence bracket. Yep, that's this right here. All right, and now we can get this styrofoam out of here. Get all this plastic off. This is the cutter head guard. All this plastic on top. So it's a fairly small machine. I mean, it's a benchtop jointer, and I went with it because it was a benchtop jointer. It's my first jointer, but it's also an 8-inch jointer, so that should hopefully give me some longevity and more room with boards to joint. So, cool. All right. I will have to say that the packaging on this thing is pretty crazy, but looks pretty good. Looks like it didn't get any damage, even though the box was damaged in shipping. So there is some lubricating oil on top of the table, and that's to protect it from rust. Before I put this together, I'm gonna wipe it all down thoroughly, and then I'll probably put some paste wax on it. Just get all this nasty shit off there. Now the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the fence, and I'm going to use the larger hex key in order to do so. I'm starting out by attaching the fence support bracket to the back of the jointer. If you're wondering where the bolts are to attach the fence support bracket, they are in the back of the jointer. There are 4 socket head bolts that you will need to unscrew from the back of the jointer in order to use them. Next, I attach the sliding fence bracket to the fence itself, and this is where you will use those square nuts. And you slide them into the grooves on the back of the fence and position the fence sliding bracket to the middle of the fence. Then it was time to attach the fence and sliding bracket to the fence support bracket on the jointer itself. Next in the manual, it called for installing the dust chute, but luckily mine was already installed and I just had to put in the adapter. The next thing that I did per the manual was use a long metal straight edge to check the height of the outfeed table, and I'm checking to see that the blades barely touch the straight edge at both the front and the back of the cutter head. Now the manual says that the table should be level and good to go, but you want to check to be sure. Things were going pretty smooth, so of course I was expecting to run into some challenges, and those challenges were with adjusting the fence. This fence is very frustrating. I believe this fence is aluminum, but I wish it was cast iron and easier to adjust. There are 2 threaded screws at the top of the fence that I believe allow you to make micro adjustments, but I haven't really found anything in the manual to confirm this. And just in my short experience, I do have some concerns that this thing's going to go out of square and I'm going to have to continually check. So it would be nice if WEN could make some kind of improvements to the fence. So that completes the setup of the jointer. It was pretty quick up until the point where I had to adjust the fence, but regardless of that, I don't think it was too bad. Now that the jointer was all set up, it was time to run some boards through as a test. But first I needed to set up the jointer for my cuts. There are knobs that can be found on both the outfeed and infeed sides under the table that allow you to extend the extension arms. In order to adjust the depth of the cut, you need to first loosen the depth of cut lock knob, and then adjust the depth of cut adjustment knob to the desired depth of the cut. I'm going to run some pine through and then some walnut. One of the things that attracted me to this jointer was the Spiral Cutterhead system, which uses 16 staggered high-speed steel blades. The table is 33 inches long by 8 inches wide, and it has support arms that can extend up to 51 inches. My first thoughts are that it did pretty well. I didn't have any issues running through either the pine or the walnut. It did a really great job. The cutter heads really left a smooth, straight edge behind. I'm actually pretty happy with the performance. The dust collection is pretty awesome. In regards to the pros and cons, I would say pro is definitely the 8-inch bed. I think it's really good that it's able to handle some of the wider boards. So I'm very happy that I went with that. And also for the price point, under $500 is not really that bad for an 8-inch jointer. So a con to this jointer, I would say, is definitely the fence. The fence is very frustrating to make at 90 degrees perfect. When you adjust the fence and if you move it forward or back, I noticed that it went out of square, which is super frustrating. And also that the knobs are very in close quarters to each other, so you can adjust it to move forward or backwards, and you can hit the bevel angle adjustment, and that is kind of a flaw, I think. First initial reactions are I'm really happy with it. I'm glad I bought this. I'm glad I got the 8-inch instead of a 6-inch jointer. I know I just used it a few times. I'm gonna have to review this probably after many, many uses, which I probably will do a video a few months later when I've used this a lot. But I'm really excited to use this in my shop going forward. All right, well, that's all I have. So thanks for watching, and like and subscribe. See you next time.